tank. It did a lot of not dying until it died because he was the last man standing.
Yeah.
Although I did go to Vietnam for a few days over New Year's. Actually woke up at like 3 a.m. to see the sunrise. It was absolutely fantastic. But let's get into it. Game number 1, DRX taking on Nongshim, the debut game of 2024's spring season.
Or set up an invader, Sponge is at the ready, but
Yeah.
able to get anything at least for now.
The sponging has begun quite early on in this one as he starts up the rev buff, but immediately sees Sylvie heading towards the top side. Rascal asking for a little bit of attention, one could assume. And yeah, it looks like Nongshim not going to be able to stop him. They know that Sponge is in the area. They don't want to try and go for it. So Rascal going to be able to get behind that turret, even stealing away some little minions. And they're going to help deny the Krog. So already, DRX off to a good start this game.
Yeah, okay, I wasn't sure whether we had reached a consensus yet on that. It's Call Me.
No, we hadn't reached a consensus, and we are very impressed by the Spanish League's name for it, which is Kevin's.
The Kevins, yeah.
The Kevin's. It's
Which
Kevin's.
is great. The base damage of Udyr early on is really impressive to deal with. Call Me as the flash.
Oh dear. Not a great start as Satab really making his name known here in this mid lane already. Call Me is no slouch, by the way. I know you may not have necessarily heard his name too many times, or maybe you have, but he's really good. He's really, really good. Especially like his solo queue record over the last few months has been phenomenal. But Satab, he's really, really good. And currently, just doing some Orianna things. Full bobs being picked up here by Sponge. Some honey fruit being consumed. Rascal just, I feel like he's living his best life on this Udyr towards the top side of the map, just feeling like an immovable object. Just phoenixing, which is not the name of it anymore. But I just can't stop. Emperor's Divide going to throw Satab under the turret. He's going to get the flash with the shockwave. The knockup comes in, and that's first blood. Was that planned? That was beautiful to watch. Let's see it again. The shockwave flash, just gorgeous as a response here.
아지를 봐줄래? 너플 잡았다.
So calm as well, right?
So DRX will survive.
So unlike last time, they don't actually give anything up for this. They give up control of the Dragon Pit, at least for now, but that's only temporary. Should be able to make their way over here, and you can see the hesitation that Nongshim have to try and go and make a play with Jiwoo being
That's
this
low. A flash forward. Jiwoo gonna have to flash out of that one. Teddy, ruthless in the beginning of this game. Wonder whether this is just going to be what Teddy's going to be like this year. As in goes Call Me, decides not to press the R button, and Satab is going to say, I've got one, don't you worry about that. Gets another flash.
Here in this jungle 2v2, where I think...
Oh, bubble coming down. That bait was gorgeous. Peter going to have to flash as well. No flashes remaining, as there's a flash forward from Sylvie. Does get a counter-strike onto Teddy. Immediately he cleanses. Decent movement speed buff. There is the bubble. Does manage to stop him, but it's not enough. And there is the first kill for Nongshim. Sylvie grabbing that one.
And while I'm very happy to see Teddy actually going as aggressively as he did there.
Not quite there yet, but getting closer.
They do know that something is wrong, but Satab is also on his way. They can't defend this. That's so much being gone as Peter.
Oh yeah, the dash calling coming out. That is going to be 50% health on both bot lane members of Nongshim. Sponge is coming on over to give them as much space on this turret as possible. 3 plates going down thanks to the Void Bubs. Look at him go. Absolutely adorable. Little Void potatoes. And that is going to be a heroic charge. Nice bubble to layer that CC. Tidal wave. And Sylvie just couldn't do anything. He was told that he wasn't able to move until he was dead. Peter's put in a bubble. Double tapped by Teddy here, and that's a shockwave. Satab's down here on the bottom side. Barrier comes out and keeps Jiwoo alive, but it may not be enough to keep the turret up.
Yeah, and while it comes, when it comes to macro, I think DRX, if they can get this turret, would be big. Might go down still. Teddy?
Yeah, just actually avoids the Emperor's Divide. Call Me not quite finding his R button too many times this game.
Satab.
The turret has now been removed. Teddy just trying to escape from this one. Command Protect will make sure that he's going to stay alive. Call Me does reconstruct the turret, but Satab just says, nah, you're dead, buddy. Going to be able to grab that kill with Teddy's help. And then Call Me just a sitting duck, or a sitting pigeon, as it were. Steadfast Presence, and Dundun's dead.
You know what happened to Dundun?
No, I don't.
He got sponged, Atlas.
I was missing some pretty valuable context, I think, as Jiwoo not going to get bubble. Tidal Wave avoided as well. Oh, the Moonlight Vigil going to miss. And that means that Teddy will survive this one. Nicely played by the young gun on Nongshim. Not quite enough to grab a kill. Of course, have spent some time on some big stages, Satab especially, as Tidal Wave going to gracefully meander by. And that is Sylvie just driving Shelly into the turret. She will be taken down. Not able to actually complete it, but it is pretty close to going down. Dundun with a decent Narbar, but DRX closing in. Dangerous position as... Oh, Rascal. Oh, Rascal. Okay, Call Me not going to get over that wall. If he had a press shifting sands, he may have just died. Or had to ult and flash. Making his way towards the pit. We'll have to see which version of that. Oh my goodness, Teddy can interrupt us as Jiwoo's almost just dead. Call Me finds the Emperor's Divide, though he's swept up and destroyed. Pleta has to flash away. Rascal staying in amongst it, but not quite able to do enough here.
Still very much in a situation where they're in a pretty large deficit. Satab.
Okay, gonna flash out of the way of the counter-strike, but Peter is going to be there. Now Teddy just going to back up his mid laner. Sylvie still wanting a little bit more. Piercing Light. Lots of damage, but Call Me teleports in. Sponge. Okay, can he find something? The answer's no just yet. Oh, gets the cleanse out. Flash Heroic Charge was decent. Not enough, but here comes Rascal. Does manage to find the stun onto Jiwoo here, and that is a circle of death he's created. Jiwoo's going to get destroyed. Sponge goes down. Rascal, will he be able to keep them at bay? As Dundun's trying to be the hero, finds the Nara into the wall. Oh! 1 versus 3. Manages to get a kill, and Teddy has to run for the hills. Nongshim finding the team fight. 4 Cloud Drakes. That is absurd. As the Baron has been started, full information here to DRX as they do get the Scryer down, but this is dying so quickly.
That's gone!
Azir and the Aphelios, that is so much damage. Dundun just going to try and keep them at bay, and the Baron is taken. Nongshim, what a play. Dundun going to be sacrificed, but a worthy sacrifice indeed.
But you were able to withstand that first Baron without any of your inhibitors going down, still have an inner standing in mid. So it's not the end of the world, but at the same time, from this point onward, you are playing against a team-fighting team that is insanely strong. As Satab doesn't quite find Sylvie there.
Well, quick plate's completed here for Teddy. Clears out the minion wave with the culling, but Jiwoo is looking pretty scary. Next fight should be for the Baron. It's in goes Call Me. There's the Flash Emperor's Divide. Only onto 2 though, as he does use his Zonyas. Teddy gonna get taken out first though, and now the blender has started. Jiwoo's guns aren't optimal, but they seem good enough for this one. Double bubble, gorgeous from Pleta. Might buy them a little bit of space. The flash out from Sponge. He is poppy, he is pretty quick. I don't think he's gonna be able to escape from this one. Another bubble, heroic charge, and maybe he'll be... No, never mind, he's dead. Jiwoo going to be able to secure that one, and another Baron on a silver platter for Nongshim.
And all they had to give up was Call Me. Last time it was Dundun sacrificing himself. A Hail Mary play, a big ultimate from him, could still salvage this game. Sylvie.
Yeah, bubble does come in. He just gets thrown into the bouncy castle. Knock up there onto Jiwoo. He's in the front line. Rascal, not quite enough damage available, though, to try and stop him. And the ulti comes through from the Melio to keep Jiwoo alive. DRX just unable to crack Nongshim, even though they kill the jungler. Never you mind.
Do note, he does have his death cap available. Okay, it does show himself, so should just leave it at that. I'm not too sure about showing yourself there, Call Me.
Yeah, the flash does come through to avoid the Emperor's Divide. Shockwave comes in, and now Teddy, he's going to be tanking up the Sun Disc. Another bubble from Pleta is really nice. Just buying some time, I guess, is Call Me, as Sponge does pick it up. And that is going to be in trade for an inhibitor turret. So I guess, you know, lose one thing, gain another, in theory. Sylvie going to avoid some auto attacks there. Of course, a fair bit of spell damage done here by Teddy as well.
Contesting?
All right, they're going for it. Moonlight Vigil to try and soften them up as Pleta in the back of the pit is taking so much damage. Now Sylvie was over the wall looking for a steal. It's going to be the secure by Sponge. And now Teddy just flashing on over, wanting to find Sylvie here, but I don't know whether it's really worth it, as Dundun going to be able to grab an inhibitor. They are playing the late game map really beautifully on the Nongshim side. And there's another Counter-Strike. Teddy with the... Oh, he survives, and Jiwoo dives forward. Teddy still trying to sling the line around, and it's 80 carry for 80 carry. They lose their Orianna as well, though, and Dundun, he's like, well, I started, I may as well keep going. Sylvie also still alive as Rascal just doesn't do damage, unfortunately. Dindon going to be asked whether he could leave, and Dindon's going to say, not respectfully, no, I will not. I'm going to go for this minion wave once again as Rascal, wrong direction, but he is still at least alive, and his base remains standing as well, if not in a little bit of shambles.
Yeah, they don't know where he is. Peter not going to be able to find him. Straight back to another battle.
Yeah, Sponge. He had something in his mind as, oh, Shockwave going to be avoided by the shifting sands here of Call Me. When that cooldown is back up again, Emperor's Divide going to be big as into the backline goes Sylvie. Steadfast Presence going to deny it though, and Teddy says goodnight to the Jax. Emperor's Divide onto just one as Sponge goes in, and the Moonlight Vigil to follow up. Teddy just getting eviscerated here by the massive Aphelios. Poppy gonna fall down first, but now they're limping away from this fight, and Jiwoo, he's looking like he's hit critical mass, Chronicler. It's looking so difficult to deal with here on the side of DRX.
And Rascal pulling the wave, trying to ensure that the can't actually end. He doesn't die. Well, they're getting it anyways.
Yeah.
Sponge?
Dindon, he's running him around the map. Another culling to come in here as Dindon going to be sacrificed for the good of the colony once again. Man, that Sundisk just really tearing.
Where are they going in? They're a member down.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Jiwoo is out of the fight. And so that means that I don't think Nongshim are going to be able to do too much more. And it's feeling neck and neck at the moment. 4,000 gold is the lead here for Nongshim. They do have a bit more control. But I feel like this could go any way. Because now it's just up to one team fight. Could be an Elder. Sponge getting torn apart. There's a Flash Emperor's Divide. Jiwoo grabs the kill on the Poppy. It was Rascal who got swept up, so he's not going to die just yet. But it may be an inevitability that DRX can have to
he's running.
Never mind, he's running. He's Udyr. He's just going to escape, I guess. Peter gets knocked up. Jiwoo just runs towards them. Bleta just gets flanked by Dindon. Okay, good night, Satab. He's going to be taken down as Teddy's culling finds not a whole lot more than air. And Jiwoo is so incredibly scary. The flashes forward as Sylvie dives on top of Udyr, and he does eventually die. One Nexus turret to be taken down, and then Nongshim will take game number 1 here in the spring season start of 2014. 2014? 2024. Where am I? Who am I?
By Orcs. Specifically nice here is that they also take away the Jax so that there is an opportunity to maybe do some weird flexing. Not going to be any of that, but
this time around, still very, very strong. It's gone to the Rift for game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
last time around, I play super aggressive. The one thing that is interesting to me here is that Call Me went for Phase Rush. We have seen a ton of the Taliyah with First Strike. Phase Rush, I do think gives you a really nice amount of added safety. Does come at the cost of a little bit of the burst damage, and obviously the gold generation, so snowballing might be somewhat reduced, but it's good to see some early pressure. You really want to keep this Akali down as much as possible, but Satab is still doing a great job at continuously getting these creeps. Is getting low now. Not that easy for Silver to land a flash Q here.
Oh, just barely breaking away from that
Peter's
one.
there.
Yeah, he's making his way, and that's a flash over from Sylvie as Satab desperately wanting to get that Shroud back. He does get it. 5-point strike as well as he makes his way out. Danger here for DRX, but they do come out relatively unscathed. I think Satab's health bar didn't change. He's throwing his circle around, gets another one. Look at him go. Loving to see it. Rascal just trying his very best to deny a plate if he can. And this is kind of to be expected, I think, from DRX in this early stages. Okay, Sponge could be in trouble. Bubble going to come down, doesn't quite find Sylvie. A cease and desist comes in. Jiwoo going to be the first one to come up as Sponge does survive. Letter, of course, helping him out there as Satab just going to 1 versus 3. Not sure about that one, as Teddy is going to turn up as well. The culling, fair bit of damage. Sylvie finds right the edge of the Vault Breaker, forcing the flash out from Teddy. DRX going to back away. Nongshim feeling real feisty at the moment.
And Nongshim definitely going to feel better about that exchange there, because they are the ones that only had to invest Peter's heal. As Dundon did not back, whereas Rascal did, but he doesn't seem to care whatsoever.
Not too worried about it. As, yeah, the Grandmaster's might is utilized, and Rascal just says, I don't have enough.
I'm sorry.
I can't counter this. Like, I mean...
Yeah, but, you know, the stats on Riftmaker are really good. I think the item is somewhat overtuned, and Udyr will stay in fights for the max amount of time. Maybe it's just the Haunting Guy's tech, and he just builds tank outside of that. Don't go in on Xin. We've learned this lesson.
Indeed. Well, Sponge is going to go in on Xin. And Rascal's going to join him there as well. Dundun in a little bit of trouble here as the Udyr is going down low. That is going to be the first kill, but it's traded immediately. Sylvie goes down as well. 2 for Rascal as Teddy turns up, but he's got a few extra enemies there than he would like. Seismic Shove doesn't find him. Teddy will be able to walk his way out. Grub's going to go over to DRX, and that is going to be 3 apiece. No one with an advantage on the Kevin side. One more difficult. Dundun moving towards the top side of the map to stop this Jax split push. His Trinity Force is now done. And now we're ghosting. All right, Dundun, you've got a long way to run for Rascal to be able to get out of this one. See who's going to be able to win this. Is teleport to come in. That's one way of dealing with it. So I don't know whether he would have survived if he had to walk that entire distance. And he's still pretty happy to go aggressive 1 versus 2 as Nongshim, they're going to park the Rift Herald in the outer turret. Tidal Wave to fly forward. Only going to get knocked up once again as they're continuing the siege. Seismic Shove going wide.
Udyr, baseline tankiness is incredibly high, and he's just up in the enemy jungle. Should he be?
Look at Sylvie, biding his time, waiting for that opportune moment as he dives in. Sponge has to use the Crescent Guard. Keep himself safe. They even invest the Tidal Wave Great Bubble to mean that only Sylvie can follow up. Seismic Shove looked like it was the Seismic Shove that exploded everyone away from the area, but it was the Blast Cone that did so. And Jiwoo throwing out the Moonlight Vigil. There's another bubble as Sylvie has to flash. The culling now going to sort of not find too much, but that shove was beautiful. Call me. Finding some value there is now Dundun running forward menacingly. Gets backflipped on, but Zaytab ain't going aggressive on that one. And Nongshim, they find the turret, and they find even more with the death of Sponge, and they might continue sieging.
I think you can see DRX suffering a little bit when it comes to the confidence. In the previous game, they were so happy, Sponge in particular, I think, having a standout performance, but right now, this composition is, I think, pretty rough to play as... Oh,
another cease and desist, and that is going to guarantee the Seismic Shove. Sylvie will take a couple of turret shots as, all right. Platter and Teddy getting a little bit aggressive, but 2 versus 4.
I think you're still going to be feeling a lot better about it. And Nongshim right now already one up in the series, also sitting at a 3K gold lead.
Looking absolutely fantastic for the minute. Another rapid fire cannon completed here from Teddy, doing a fair bit of damage to Jiwoo, who's answering very nicely as well. Weaver's Wall to come forward, and Teddy's walking on rocks. Can't do that. Can't relentlessly pursue away as Cease and Desist is going to say no to the Blast Cone. Double kill for Jiwoo. He might be getting back-to-back POGs if this keeps going the way it is. And Nongshim, they think it's Baron time once again.
Health bars are somewhat low, but only on Call Me. I don't think that's enough.
Some serious heroism going to need to happen here, but you can see Rascal just getting thrown around like a ragdoll. Zaytab diving in.
Not enough damage.
Yeah, not going to be able to find too much here. Dundun just says, get out of here. And they are going to have to agree. The Baron goes down, and Dundun ain't done. He's just charging on top of Platter. And he's going to say, my work here is done. Teleport to come in as Rascal makes his way back. And Colmey's clearing out vision. Let's see whether Rascal can get something done here as he dives on in. Decent counter-strike as Zaytab will turn up as well. Looks like Colmey might just be okay. And Dundun, he's a brick wall. You cannot get past him. And he's just doing, like, I feel like this Riftmaker tech working out real well. No.
The reality that we're looking at is Colmey takes a lot of damage there.
Yeah, we'll get culled a little bit. Doing too much as Dundun is in the enemy base. And the turret is just dead. Zaytab knows his target. He looks for Colmey, doesn't find the Shuriken though, as Rascal can't get into that backline, especially not with his Kali out of the fight. Cease and Desist comes in. Tidal Wave trying to stop this battle as Sponge going to get thrown back and destroyed. Dundun just in that front line, making sure that no one can do anything, and the Moonlight Vigil goes wide. That will mean that DRX can make it out without losing too much more, but their inhibitor not going to be so lucky. They're going to continue pushing. Not sure about that, Nongshim. It's 26 minutes into this game. But it looks like they do want to grab themselves a Nexus turret. Seismic Shove going to go wide. Jax looking for a little bit of a flank angle. Doesn't quite find it, though, and Rascal's going to be taken down. Dundun walking forward.
True, Dundun.
That's what he's doing. And yeah, 2 Nexus turrets to be tanked at the same time. Not really a thing that he's capable of doing.
And Teddy actually invested his flash there as, oh, Sponge.
Yeah, Sponge, I think, might be in a little bit of trouble here as he tries to go aggressive onto Call Me. He avoids a fair bit of damage there, but he gets the good old deft thumbs up as he goes down. Call Me not going to be thwarted on this one. Of course, both Sponge and Call Me together in Challenger last year, playing against one another.
Yeah.
So have a fair bit of experience with each other's playstyle.
And what we saw there as well from Call Me was the crit bloom, which if you are able to get a kill, or rather attribute to a kill, you're still alive, and someone dies within 3 seconds of you damaging them, you get a really big AoE heal. As game might be over, Atlas.
Yeah, that's a seismic shove. Teddy is just going to get punched, and that is going to be the end of the Lucian. Dundun is running, he's walking, he's sprinting, he's doing all of the movement things, and it is terrifying for DRX as they are losing Nexus turrets left and right. The right one going down just now. Sponge fresh out of the death chamber and straight back in, and the Nexus is exposed. Nongshim with a 2-0 start to 2024. It cannot get much better than that for this squad. Looking brilliant straight out of the gate.